Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I am so crazy behind today. I had a bunch of things go wrong during my morning routine. My contacts were not cooperating. There was a fire alarm chirping at me. So, like, I haven't even eaten. But let's come in here, look at what happened. I think that we should have a more relaxing day today. Maybe we'll spend some time programming because Donald Trump said that they're going to extend the "we won't destroy power plants" for another 10 days. So the oh my gosh, Armageddon date. We shouldn't call it that. We should just call it Armageddon. Armageddon has been postponed until April 6th, is my understanding. So let's come and see the charts and how they reacted, because it was a bit of a topsy-turvy day yesterday. So here we got the treasuries. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, so the things were kind of not going so well. That was like, oh, the Iranians aren't going to make a deal. And then into the close, whoosh. That was when he said they delayed the power plant thing. Push lower here this morning. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't cancel everything that I said about, like, maybe relaxing today and everything, because that is new lows. I am concerned. Okay. S&P 500, not a new low there, but close. Oil is slightly trending up. Gold and silver have not taken a beating yet. Well, if this environment continues, probably the trade is short gold and silver, huh? Japanese yen, also a little bit lower. That is getting to dangerous levels. And Bitcoin, also taking a dive. So, curious. Let's see here. What is this, Uzi? Jigsaw is going to fix the bridge issue with the new NinjaTrader connections, and we can log directly into the platform with her. Oh, you're saying that Jigsaw will allow you to connect to NinjaTrader's connection directly. Does that mean, but how do you deal with the, they currently do. Okay, but then how do you deal with the multiple connections issue? Pay extra for a second connection, or just not use NinjaTrader? Oh, because their NinjaTrader accounts are Trade08 accounts. Wait, really? Or is it NinjaTrader is allowing the connections now? Because starting a couple of days ago, prop firms allowed direct logins through NinjaTrader 2. I mean, I'm guessing that he has both platforms connected. Otherwise, he would be saying bad news. I can't use your indicators anymore, Seth. All that work, and now I can't use it. I connected to both Continuum and the day trader platform directly using my NinjaTrader logging. I feel like that just confuses me. Oh, okay, you got a link to the blog. NinjaTrader 8 Live users can connect directly to DayTrader today by creating a Trade of 8 connection type in DayTrader. No bridge required. It works cleanly with the new feed, and you can get up and running immediately. Bonus, this also means you get access to Jigsaw's full charting suite and proprietary indicators like footprint charts, swing charts, market profile charts, and more. That's a genuine upgrade. NinjaTrader is currently migrating users from Continuum to their new NinjaTrader 8 live data feed. If you're one of those users and you've been trying to connect to DayTrader via the bridge, you may have run into some issues. Other third-party plugin companies are having issues as well with this new feed. Fixes coming in our next release. We'll be adding a dedicated NinjaTrader 8 live connection type in the next release, but the Trade of 8 connection gets you everything you need in the meantime. Okay, but it doesn't know. The question, though, is how does it deal with having multiple applications connecting? Can you connect both NinjaTrader 8 and Jigsaw to your Trade of 8 connection at the same time? When I was connected to Continuum and Trade of 8, Jigsaw Trade of 8, it was just fine. Okay, so that sounds like you did have both of them connected at the same time and it was okay with it. Oh, you're saying that because you have one connected to Continuum and you have one connected to Trade of 8, that they're two connections. I see what you're saying. So you're not sure what's going to happen when they stop your Continuum connection. If you will be able to still use both Jigsaw and NinjaTrader at the same time. Unless the fix that NinjaTrader is talking about here is fixing the bridge for that new data type. I'm kind of curious, though, what it would be, because I wouldn't have thought that the bridge would be particular about which connection it was coming from. The issue, from my perspective, is that the bridge keeps essentially rebooting, calling for bar history over and over again. So visually, you wind up the profiles on the... it must be that the method that the bridge uses to send stuff over calls the history incorrectly. Like it's calling one method and they actually introduced a new method to do it or something like that. That maybe that would make sense. I don't know. I'm not really liking the direction that NinjaTrader is taking this though. Because it is basically that the users that are on the multi-broker license are eventually going to be hosed, right? That seems to me where this is headed. It's got me a little on edge too. It's okay. We're gonna make our own platform. I'm gonna get my ass in gear. Mm-hmm. Because it also means that if you don't want to be on Sierra Charts or NinjaTrader's broker, then you kind of have lesser options for a lot of your platforms. Except for Jigsaw, of course. Jigsaw is the only one of those that I think is really good. But the irony here is that I think if I made my own platform, and it did really, really well, probably at some point you would probably involve adding data, and maybe you open a brokerage business, and then you would probably want to do all the same things. Like the business incentives to do that are just too high. I kind of keep wondering if Jigsaw will ever go to that kind of a model too. Although maybe they can get away with it because their development costs are less because they're in Malaysia or whatever. I don't know. I kind of wonder sometimes. I'm curious if they're still going to make us pay for their data, though. I think there would have to be a monthly cost, right? You might bundle it into other stuff, but if you have the full license, I think that you would have to pay because the CME makes you pay. Mm-hmm. There's a small, scary posting by Google recently. Info released 2 days ago was ignored. It seemed weird. How about how AI can take less memory, which will really mess with the memory crisis right now. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday, right? Basically, they need half as much memory as they thought they did. I don't think that it will mean that they will allocate less memory. It would just mean that they will make all of the models bigger. But I am curious to see how that's going to affect the memory makers, because the memory makers, it should result in less demand. So does that now? Maybe they can just say, "Oh, there's less demand on the cloud side. Maybe we actually can provide consumer RAM." I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, back to Ninja Trader. As he says, it seems like Ninja Trader is trying to streamline anything. I just don't want anything to change from a tools perspective. I can deal with streamlining the user experience. I don't want to lose my tool. Yeah. Well, no, that really is it, though, right? Is I think one of the things that is like the biggest friction for the onboarding is like you've got to get your account and all that stuff, and then you've got to go and get your data feed, and you've got to set up the data feed within the application and go through it all. And for some people, that it's hard for them to figure that out. Now, from our perspective, that's probably a little startling. Like, okay, if you can't figure that out, maybe you shouldn't be trading. But I think from a platform perspective, probably does result in a certain amount of lost sales, like a certain number of people that do demo and don't convert over. Whereas if all they have to do is sign up for an email and then they install the application, log in, and the demo's going, easy peasy. Much smoother experience, less people are likely to fall off. Yeah, if anything, it's just intimidating for new users, you're right. But, you know, futures overall are intimidating. So... After Kraken bought them, their funding options changed, and when I started, I had to do wires. Now I can. Oh, you could do that before Kraken, though. I think that was really more a function of them pushing over to their own brokerage, and that probably when that changed for you was when you got switched from the other FCM. Shouldn't say brokerage, I should say FCM. Let's see here. Iran denies requesting Donald Trump's 10-day halt. Israel doubles down amid reports of manpower strain. IDF chief warns of manpower pressure even as Defense Minister Katz vows to intensify and expand strikes. Risk rises that Iran is holding back more advanced missiles for a prolonged war. something I was reading about yesterday was that like the hardliners were pushing even harder for a nuclear weapon. And I'm not sure how I can put this, because I think that I'm kind of picking up something between the lines, or maybe this is like intuition, which means that maybe I'm just hallucinating. But it really seems to me like Iran thinks that they could get a nuclear bomb like just at any time. Like they have enough material, and if they enriched it a little bit further, or of the amount that's enriched, maybe there's enough that is yielding enough that they could make the bomb. And they've already collected all of the technology from espionage and whatnot. And so all they would have to do is actually like build it. Because the market did kind of seem to like, if not react, like people are definitely talking about it. Can you imagine if all of a sudden we got a news report that they detected an earthquake or something in Iran that they think was a nuclear explosion? Like, I think people would flip out. JD Vance talking to Rand seems they like him more than Trump. Well, so some of the stuff that's going on here, though, I think still suggests to me competing Iranian factions. It sounds to me like the Trump administration is talking through contacts that they made with the Iranian minister, and it's probably not necessarily them talking to the Iranian minister as much as other people that he introduced them to. And then there's the IRGC. And they're not actually talking, you know, and messages aren't necessarily being relayed between the two of them. And maybe these guys in the foreign ministry think, yeah, we're the government, we're the ones that should be in charge. But really, if you think about it, it's really the IRGC. And so the IRGC keeps coming out and denying all of these headlines when Donald Trump was like, oh, we made a deal, like a 10-day pause, we did this, we did that, right? IRGC didn't agree to it, so that's why they keep putting out. And you got to remember that, like, the U.S. completely destroyed all of their communication infrastructure and stuff like that. So you've still got, like, these pockets of people doing stuff independently. Can you imagine Iran firing a nuke and the U.S. intercept it midair? Well, so this thing that Iran is holding back more advanced missiles is kind of curious. Sure. Like, do they have missiles that hit Europe and maybe they decide to use them? Like, I think one of the big takeaways from this war is that when somebody tells you who they are, you should believe them the first time. And Iran has been telling us from the get-go, like, oh, we'll attack everybody, death to everyone that opposes us. They're religious extremists. And they didn't hesitate at all, hitting, like, literally every other Gulf country. Like, the other Gulf countries are still kind of like, oh, we're going to be patient. We're still trying to work things out, yada, yada, yada. It's so crazy. Like, if I was Saudi Arabia and I had my infrastructure hit like that, it would be like, okay, ground invasion. They're still being patient, right? Like, whew. Okay, but then the other thing though is, like, if Iran fired a nuclear missile, could the United States intercept it midair? I don't think that it would be a guaranteed thing that they would. Like, they would have stuff that would try to intercept it, but there's this maybe let's just call it 50-50 because we don't really know the technology that would be involved. Could be 50-50 whether it gets through or not. And I tell you what, many of you might not remember this, but way back in 2018-ish, there was a they had the air sirens in Hawaii go off, and they thought that North Korea had fired a missile at Hawaii. They thought that North Korea was firing a nuke at Hawaii. And the market absolutely just completely panicked. It was crazy. Like, the whole market just completely fell apart. And then everybody was like, oh, it's a false alarm. One of the best, like, single day, I would have bought that. Honestly, if I had been home at the time, I would have bought that. That would have been a huge trade. Because, like, worst case scenario, you die, right? Like, it's either you're going to die or the trade works out. So why not? Saudi Arabia even pushing Iraq to be more patient. So the other thing I wonder about here, though, like one of the issues is that everybody kind of reads this based on what they believe about Donald Trump, right? So a lot of people think that the Trump administration thought it was going to be really fast and that they didn't really expect this to continue going, which maybe is true. I really think that. Okay, let me back up. So I saw a guy on TikTok, and he was saying, hey, maybe the reason the Trump administration attacked Iran is because they thought that it would create economic calamity, and that would allow them to cut interest rates. And they really want to cut interest rates for the election. And that, to me, is like the most ridiculous brain dead theory could ever possibly come up with. Like, okay, first of all, Scott Bessent is not an idiot. He would know that that kind of turmoil would increase the cost of gasoline and make cutting interest rates precarious. So he knows that that wouldn't necessarily mean lower interest rates. And, of course, all of the economic impacts of something like that are going to be much bigger than just interest rates. And the political consequences of that are going to be much more than just interest rates, right? That makes zero sense. And the thing is if you really want to go after them, wouldn't it be better to wait until after the election? Like, honestly, if it's not for economic reasons, why now? Why not wait until after the election? Well, one could argue that it's because they thought that it was going to be done and quick and easy. That could be the case. I really hope that that's not the case, because I think it would still be like, even if it was quick, there's still like some big risks to it politically. So I would still be advising that he wait until after the election. And so if you kind of put all that together, the only other option is that they felt that they had to. That Iran was getting too close, that we had certain openings in their technology that might not be there in 9 months. For some reason, they had to go in now. And I think that we've been getting little hints here and there about why that might be. One of them was that the one story that came out at the beginning but kind of got pushed down was the story that Israel basically said that they were going to go in, and so the U.S. felt like that they had to follow them. Right? Netanyahu keeps pushing that story down, saying, come on, guys, I couldn't convince Donald Trump to do something that he doesn't want to do. Okay. But then another thing that happened that I thought was really, really, really interesting was that Israel striked a gas production facility in Iran, which was in escalation. And then the United States was kind of like, whoa, 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 don't do that. Hey, chill out. Oh, yeah, we're sorry Israel did that. We don't want to do, let's not escalate that. But like they, right? They went back on it. Like as soon as that happened and kind of distanced themselves from what Israel. So Israel did something, made an escalation that the United States wasn't ready for. Isn't that interesting? And that's one of those ones that like the news kind of stopped talking about. But that just kind of tells you, like there is something there. There is something there that, like, if you were in the intelligence community and everything, you would maybe be privy to. And I think it suggests that a combination of the technology opening advantage over the radar systems that we knew that we had, and Israel wanting to go in, kind of force the administration's hand into going into Iran before they really wanted to. And then this escalated. So they didn't have the on the ground resources that we really kind of need over there now at this point. Is kind of that end result. Right? So then I kind of wonder, is this whole 10-day pause thing not like a we really think we're going to get a deal, but just kind of give us more time to get even more assets into the Middle East? Because the other story that I heard this morning was that the Pentagon wants to send another 10,000 troops down. Like, we got troops that are supposed to be arriving there today, and then there was another set of troops that they were sending in, and now the Pentagon wants to send another 10,000 after that. So now we've gotten 3 waves of deployments. Although the third one hasn't actually happened. It's just rumored. Yeah. But I'm a little frustrated here because Donald Trump is like, oh, we're going to have a 10-day pause. The Iranians are like, no, we're not. Okay, well, I guess we can attack your power plants today if you really want. Take your pick. Seriously. Yeah, why not wait a week so that we have more ground forces in the area? It makes sense to me. Because what I'm hearing them planning is like a real final strike. Like, they're just gonna take over the whole country. Okay, why would Trump send Kushner? Because Kushner is his negotiator, man. Kushner has always been his negotiator. His top negotiator. And quite frankly, he's been good at it. Kushner successfully negotiated a peace settlement between Israel and Palestine, or Gaza and Israel. Like, I wish it had happened sooner and it was a better deal and everything, but they did do something that probably is going to go down in history as one of the biggest Middle East peace deals ever. Kushner's good at it. That's what he specializes in. And it's always been, he did stuff in the first term too. Okay, did we get another headline come through here? Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I don't have my news clock turned on. Whatever happened to Gaza? Ugh. What the fuck, Twitter? What? Okay, I'm coming in here on Twitter. As of March 26th, X Pro is only accessible on the X Premium Plus plan. What am I on? What plan am I on? Really, Elon? You gonna do this to me today, Elon? Ugh. $40 a month? Are you fucking kidding me? What? I have to pay, in order to use TweetDeck, I have to pay $40 a month so that I can get Super Grok and all of this other bullshit? Fuck that. I'm not doing it. No way. TweetDeck is not worth, because I'm not, if I'm gonna buy an AI, I'm not gonna do Grok. It's not the coding AI. I'm gonna do Claude. Man. X Pro, why? And no warning for me. No warning. Oh. I am so shocked. Elon, this is such a bad decision. This is such a bad decision. I'm so... Oh, man. Okay, you know what? I have a little bit of food to eat here. I'm going to have to kind of sit and stew on this for a little bit. Okay, so the headline is that Israeli airstrikes are targeting steel plants in Iran. What is TweetDeck? TweetDeck is an application that allows you to monitor multiple hashtags or searches or whatever it is on Twitter and see tweets as they come in live. So I kind of wonder here, what does my X Pro subscription give me? Because... okay, so it's not Pro, it's called Premium. So there's Premium and Premium Plus. And the Premium was only like $6 a month or something like that. And it allows you to have the little blue check next to your name. But if all the subscription gives me is the little plus next to my name, I don't know if it's worth it. So I think that I have to cancel my X subscription. But anyways, I've always had TweetDeck open on another screen. Well, you know, like I can't even show it to you because it doesn't work. I'm trying to think about, like, okay, is this actually a good thing for Twitter and Grok and Elon's ecosystem and all of that? I don't think that I can separate myself from how this affects me versus whether it's good for their business or not. Like, if this is really actually a big mistake for them. I'm just sitting here like, what is the reason for me to use Twitter now? If I can't use TweetDeck unless I pay $40 a month, which is not worth it for TweetDeck, just for TweetDeck. I'm not. If I'm gonna spend that much, and I can spend less and get Claude. Like, it's just not a competitive option. Am I missing something here? Okay. So here's somebody on Reddit. They're posting a different message. We've temporarily blocked access to premium subscribers to investigate fraud misuse by premium tier subscribers. Please upgrade to Premium Plus to continue your access for the time being. Thanks for the understanding. That is not what it says. Mine says, as of March 26th, X Pro is only accessible to the Premium Plus plan and above. So maybe it's coming back. Oh man, somebody deleted a message or something. A movement over there. Correct. I wonder why it's not working well. Yeah. Only $400 a year. Yeah, seriously, it's like from $8 to $32 a month, not happening. All of these guys in the Reddit thread are saying the same thing. Like, I'm not going to upgrade to $40 a month. I'm just going to cancel my subscription. I'm going to give them a week, okay? Give them a week or whatever this my next subscription. I don't know when it comes out. So maybe I'll give them a month. Maybe they'll bring it back. Because it is kind of important, I think. I think it's an important tool. Granted, I can just have my financial juice open over here. They do have a pretty good idea of, like, what she put on over here. Yeah. I don't know. Man, that really sours my mood. Well, we're kind of recovering. Israel has no options to finish the Iranian regime? Well, Israel on its own, but it's not going to come to that. The United States and pretty much every Gulf country, and yes, probably even very reluctantly Europe, will join them. Because eventually they're going to figure out that that it's just no longer viable to allow these guys to be around. It's going to be too economically damaging to allow the Iranian regime to continue. Cuba next. Well, I don't think that there is going to be a military action in Cuba. No, probably not. But Cuba is likely to fall and make some sort of a deal with the United States where they open up. This is what's going to happen there. It's going to be similar to like what happened in China or Vietnam, is they'll say, okay, we'll allow free markets to some extent and that let you come in and do stuff. I think it's kind of funny. Like, the communists, they're always like, no, communism doesn't fail. The United States just causes these communist countries to fail by embargoing them and things like that. And it's like, oh, huh. The worst thing that the United States can do to harm a communist country is denying them access to capitalism. Isn't that interesting? Because really, could you imagine if they tried to implement communism on a international scale, like between countries, right? Oh, the United States has all of the means of production as private industry. They have to expropriate it from them and give it to the poor people. All of US's wealth is destroyed and they try to export it around the world. It would be such a disaster. Between countries, basically it has to be a system of free exchange. What else can it, otherwise, like, what's the point of being a country, right? And then when a country doesn't want to be a part of that kind of system, we go, okay, we're not going to be around. And then they're like, oh, why are you hurting us this like this? Someday, 10 years from now, I would really like to visit Iran. Hopefully, all this stuff will have died down by then. There will be like real tourism in Iran, I hope. And you get an opportunity to go and see other cultures that are radically different from Western culture. It'd be interesting. It would be fun. I really want to go and see Iran. It's like an interesting place to me. I think in part because it has a similar climate to where I live. But Cuba, when Cuba opens up next year or whatever it is that's about to happen, I don't think I'm gonna visit Cuba. I don't have any reason. Am I wrong? Should I want to be going vacationing in Cuba? Like what? So I can get Cuban cigars? No. Don't care about that. I don't smoke. There's something in Cuba that's super awesome I'm gonna get. I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna go on vacation to Cuba. Also, maybe could go on vacation to Gaza. That would be cool if that ever happened. I'm gonna bet that never happens, but I want to visit Jerusalem after all the mess. I don't know, man. The way that things are going, I think that Jerusalem is going to be a mess till either we die or the second coming happens. So Mormons believe that when Christ comes again, that's not the end of the world, actually. And I don't know where this comes from, the scriptures that comes from, or because I don't think that this was something that like the prophets said or anything like that. Is just like Mormon biblical scholars' interpretation of the end of the world, I guess. Is that there will be the end of the world, and then Christ will come again, and then there will be a millennium. That there will be 1,000 years of peace where Christ will reign on the earth, and the Mormons believe that that's when, like, all of the work for like bringing salvation to people who died without having the opportunity to receive it and things like that, all of that stuff will be handled during the millennium. And the lamb and lion will lie down together, and everything will be hunky-dory, right? For 1,000 years. And then at the end of 1,000 years, Satan will be unleashed again, and then that will be the real end of the world. So, another thing that Mormons believe about the millennium, though, is that in the millennium, you won't die. You will live to be the age of a man and then be resurrected in a twinkling of an eye, essentially. That because like a resurrected body is like a more perfect body. It's like your body, but like perfect. A resurrected body, right? So the idea is you live to be 100, and then instead of dying, you'll just go immediately to your resurrected body. That's what Mormons believe, right? So I've always been of the opinion that I'm not going to die. All of that's going to happen in our lifetime, and so I will be twinkled instead.
Block cell.
So I'm going to be twinkled. But I think that we're going to have to wait until the millennium if you want to see Jerusalem after all the mess. I mean, you can go there now, right? You can visit there now, but wondering how far can this go in the treasuries? Well, right there at 29, there's a key level because that's where we've got our inventory cost basis lines. But it looks like they're going through that. The next line up would be all the way up at 02. You got 02 and then 04 half for volatility. Let's come in here and reset our levels. Today's action has definitely been more interesting than I anticipated. Talking about this stuff just makes me want to lean into my Mormon heritage more. I don't know if you guys are very interested in that. Probably a little bit weirded out every time I talk about Mormon things. Mormons believe that our spirits existed before this life. That your spirit has, in some form, always existed, actually. Just in, like, lesser forms. And that God kind of guides your spirit towards higher forms of being, essentially. Right? So the, like, before a spirit, it's just called intelligence. Or intelligences. And then God formed us into spirits, and then we as spirits are sent down, or then our spirits are sent down to earth and put into bodies. That's what Mormons believe. So we believe that we were all, like, still existed before this life. So we talk about the pre-earth life. That's what Mormons are talking about when we talk about the pre-earth life, right? And, like, we knew each other in the pre-earth life. Like, we all knew each other in the pre-earth life, and if you're, like, really good friends in this life, there's a pretty good chance that you were pretty close in the pre-earth life, too. If you believe that. If you can believe that. It's kind of interesting. Do you believe you've been in another body? No. We don't believe that there's been multiple bodies. Only one body. In fact, I would say that Mormons believe that your body is unique and special. So there's this whole thing in UFOlogy that's like humans. So it's the whole thing of the Nordics. I'm really interested in the Nordics because the Nordics sound a lot like angels that Mormons have had visitations. Like the Mormon Latter-day descriptions of being visited by angels kind of match descriptions of people being visited by Nordic aliens. And there's this idea that like the Nordic aliens have like a divine heritage, and that they have put some of their DNA into us. So humans are particularly special in the galaxy because of our unique genetic heritage. And some of the other forms of aliens, like the praying mantis head aliens and the gray aliens and the lizard aliens, are kind of jealous because we have that divine DNA in us. So there's this interesting kind of idea in ufology that like the DNA is special and unique, that like the number of combinations that you can get from the DNA is truly staggering. It's just like infinite. And so each individual genome is unique and has special, things about it that are special and valuable, essentially, right? And I think that Mormons don't think of it as genes and stuff like that, but I think that Mormons kind of think of it the same way, that like the unique DNA of your body is a special thing, and that when you are resurrected, that certain things that like if you have certain genetic deficiencies, for instance, that those will be fixed in your body, but that like if you have green eyes, that your resurrected body will have green eyes. The things that are unique and that you really like about your body are still going to be in your resurrected body. So only one, and your spirit is bound to that. So when you get resurrected, it is your body being reformed from the dust or whatever it is. It's not, they'll just create a new one that's kind of like the old one. No, there's a special connection between your spirit and the body. Those two have to go together. Anyways, so I'm reading this thread on Reddit. The title it's from r/economic memes, which they banned me from for a month because I replied on a post that was low effort. They're like, don't reply to the spam. Okay, whatever. Every post in that subreddit is spam from that perspective. The thread is, why are people so weird about inheritance tax? Then it's got that SpongeBob meme where Squidward is asleep, wealth tax, and then wealth tax, but you don't pay it while still alive, and the eyes are like wide open, bloodshot. Well, the reason that people are upset about it is because one of the biggest drivers for people is their children. If I knew that none of the money that I accumulate in my life is able to be passed on to my children, probably it wouldn't save as much. It'd basically be like, I need to only save enough for me to live off of when I retire. Anything after that is a waste. So, first comment. Because it is the one tax that guarantees to reduce the income of those who feel entitled to wealth without having worked for it. Okay, I don't know if it's anybody feels entitled to wealth without having worked for it, but some people do get wealth without having worked for it. They say, and there exists no greater feeling of betrayal than learning that you're getting less free stuff than expected. So, like, the whole thing is like, why is it so wrong that some people have wealth without working for it? See, liberals think that it's not envy, but every time that I look at this, it always does come down to envy. That's not fair. This person had something that this person didn't, and it's not fair because that's like a huge advantage. Well, it is. It's a huge advantage. There are people that have advantages in this life and wealth in this life that the rest of us could or hardly ever hope to have, right? Like, the chances of me becoming a billionaire are pretty low. At this point, being 40, I would really have to create like an amazing company. I'd have to have a really amazing idea. Be super crazy to do it, that I would do it now after 40, right? So probably not going to become a billionaire. Probably still going to become a multimillionaire. And there are other people that their parents were billionaires and they get the wealth passed on to them. And so that gives them the opportunity to take a lot of risks, learn everything from their parents, have all of their parents' connections. And so the chances of them being able to become, make billions from their businesses are very, very high. And you can say, that's not fair. And I agree. That's not fair. Life's not fair. It doesn't have to be fair. Where is it said that life has to be fair, and if it's not fair, then that's immoral, and the entire society has to change in order to make it fair? I don't see where is that written? Who decided that? I don't agree with that. I want to do what I think is effective. Like what is the thing that is effective at creating the best society? And I think that, parents being able to pass on what they have to their kids is one of those things that works really well. Yeah, it's unfair. But you know what? This is why I was talking about the pre-earth life. We were sitting there in the pre-earth life, maybe, and God is like, Seth, I've been really impressed with you here in the pre-earth life, and I would like you to go down to earth and be a Vanderbilt. I need you to go and be in one of these super, super rich families so that you, and of course you'll have all of this wealth, but that will come with lots of big responsibilities and other downsides. And you know what I said? I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go, put me somewhere where, yes, I'm going to be able to learn and do all of the things that I might want to do. But don't go and put me somewhere where I just have an easy advantage, because I would hate what I would become if I was put into that position. I am only the person I am today because of the difficulties that I've had, because I've had to fight, because I've had to learn, because I've had to struggle, because I've gone through periods where I want to do something, I want to have this thing, but I don't know how to do it, and I can't figure out how to do it, and going years thinking about that thing, and then finally finding the answer or the opportunity. And that is a large part of who I am. And if I had been one of those people that had it handed to me, I don't think I'd be as amazing of a person. I don't think I would like that other person in that alternate timeline. That doesn't mean that like you're automatically, lesser if you were born into a rich family. It's just, I don't think that that's what I needed. Maybe there are other people that they don't, that's not what they needed to develop in this life. And so it was okay that they could be born into privilege. You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be fair. It doesn't. Out. Out, out, out. Dog's coming into my room. You will not have dog dandruff in my room. Who wrote that? Karl Marx wrote that, says Vital. Yeah, I guess. I feel like that most Americans do agree with that like it would be better if everything was fair. And I'm not sure that's right. I think that you need some people that have born into privilege and some people that have had to struggle. And the important thing is that you have a society that provides lots of opportunities for people that are able to do the self-improvement and everything to move between those, to progress and make more money and yada, yada, yada. I think it requires all types of people. I have two big old dogs in my room and they're snoozing. I don't think I realized how allergic to dogs I am. If the dogs, especially if they haven't been bathed, because it's the dog dander, the dander in addition to what they bring in from outside. Yeah, if they go a week or two without being bathed, it's like I can't go and sit on the couch. My eyes will just water the whole time. I have to have Kleenex. And this room is like the room they can't come into. This is the safe place. In my bedroom, there's a lot of dust and stuff like that. Dust. I'm also severely allergic to dust mites. But this room is the one place where I sit down, I can be in here all day and my eyes don't water. I can hear my giant alligator snapping turtle fighting with the PVC inlet to the canister filter on the tank. What? Cats will definitely help with trading. They transmit predator energy. I think I'm probably not as allergic to... So my recollection is that I am moderately allergic to dogs and only mildly allergic to cats. But you know what? I hate the smell of cats. I just don't like the way they smell. But I am going to get a cat someday. I want a cat. My wife does not like cats. She's like, yeah, we had cats growing up. She has this story of this cat that just, for some reason, that cat hated her father. That they did not get along. And she had all these stories. I wish she should come on here and tell us. Because I can't remember all of the things that the cat did. But in the end, they killed the cat. She doesn't like cats. But I really want a Sphinx cat. Because there was this girl that I dated, and she had a Sphinx cat, and it came up onto me. Like I'm sitting on the couch, and it gets up on me and starts rubbing right into my face. She's like, oh, it's never done that to anybody before. It was totally sold right then and there. Totally sold right then and there. It'd have to bathe it, but you know, we could bathe it, it'd be cute. Yeah, I want a Sphinx cat. So maybe when the dogs die, I'll be able to convince her to get a Sphinx cat. But you know what I think is going to happen though? Is these dogs are going to die. How long has it been? Are we just going to gloss over they killed the cat? Yeah, he killed the cat. I don't even remember how or anything like that, but that cat died. I wish there was more I could say, but I didn't do it. It wasn't me, okay? But apparently it was one of those situations where it was like that cat had to be put down. I need an animal for me, but we got a bearded dragon right behind me who chills and watches the PC. And I'll say, I don't get lizards as pets. Like they're not a real pet. Was it? Maybe it was sick. Like there was something wrong with it for sure. It was acting like a cat shouldn't act. But I think it was kind of more like, oh man. I was talking to this woman earlier in the week, and her grandparents had a cattle farm, and she said that if one of their dogs bit a child, that they would put it down. That it's just not, if you have a dog and it's an adult dog and it's willing to bite a child, then it will continue to do it, and it's not okay. So they would put the dog down. And it was kind of more like that. That it was like this cat is out of control, and the best thing is to put it down. Allergies are a big thing with me too. Annoyingly, don't know which things affect the most. Pocket dogs seem like fun, like the big marshmallow-looking dogs, like a Bichon Frise. Yeah. Well, so mine is like a purse dog. It's a Papillon, and I wish that I had taken it out in public more. Like I wish that I had gotten a purse and walked around with him, so that, because now if he sees people, he just starts yapping. They're yappy, and I didn't do enough to prevent the yapping. I should have taken him, gotten a purse, taken him out around the mall like once a week, and then have a shock collar on him from very, very early, so that the instant that he realized he could bark, it would, okay, I'm not going to do that. Right? I don't think I'd put my dog down if it bit a child. It would depend on the context, I guess. If my dog is chasing kids to maul them, yeah, probably. But if the bitten kid was aggravating the dog, yeah. I thought that was kind of, what she said was kind of interesting too, because as she was saying it, I was like, no, I totally agree with you. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, yeah, but like, why would that happen? Like, my dog wouldn't bite a kid unless, the kid was really, really pissing him off. But then again, my kids do all sorts of dumb things to the dogs, and they've never bitten. So, like yesterday, I let, so one of the things that happened, it's almost time to go. So my Papillon's name is Goku, and then we have another one that's a mutt, that is named Maple, and Maple's a girl. And Goku will not stop peeing in the house. I think it pretty much got him to, like, he knows that he's supposed to pee outside, but I don't know what happened. I guess we waited too long to neuter him or what, but he marks the house. He marks the house. So when he comes inside, he has to have a diaper on, and he hates the diaper because it's only been like the last year that this has been a thing. But he hates the diaper, and so he would rather sit outside. He would rather sit outside without the diaper than come in. So he'll sit outside, not bother you, and then come in and want to sit on you or whatever. So he's sitting out on the back porch. It's getting dark. I let him in. And then I'm like, wait, where's the other dog? Where's the other dog? I look everywhere. I don't want to say to my wife, I think your dog ran away. Maple is her dog. I didn't want to get a second dog. She wanted a second dog because she wanted one that's kind of got more of that like smushed face. I guess she thinks it's cute or whatever. She likes more the look of like a Maltese snout, I guess you could say, okay, rather than more of a fox snout. And so she goes around and starts searching everywhere, and there's this ice box. Yeah, you ever seen these like wooden ice boxes? It's like yay high, and then it's got like a latch on the front. Except for that, I took the latch off of it so that he couldn't lock his brother in there. Well, what he did was Asher took the ice box and put it on its back so that the door opened up like this, you know, and that way he could put the dog in it and close the door, and the dog couldn't get out. If it was a person would have been able to get out, you know, just push the door up. But the dog couldn't push the door up. So Asher had picked up this dog. I don't know if he carried her upstairs or if she had just, the gate had been open. I have a gate at the stairs so that they can't go upstairs. I don't know if maybe the gate was open and she was up there and he picked her up there, or if he just carried her. But he put her in this box, and she had been there for who knows how long. Who knows how long? So yeah, they let him do anything. She will let him do anything. I mean, she'll run away from him, but if he catches her, she'll let him do anything. So I am kind of like, that dog shouldn't bite a kid. But I think what's going to happen, I don't know, Goku, we got Goku, I want to say before 2020. So I want to say that Goku is 6 or 7 now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's much younger than that. But all of the dogs, like I can just see it. It's kind of weird with my wife. Sometimes she'll like deny that she really likes something, but you can just see it in her eye, especially when you like a Bernese Mountain Dog. She loves those. It's like one time we were at Shields. This is like an outdoor store, kind of like Cabela's, if you've ever heard of Cabela's. It's like a super Cabela's, if you can believe that such a thing exists. A super Cabela's. And you know, I'm talking about stuff we want to go through. And then as soon as she saw that dog, she pet that dog, and then she was distracted the whole rest of the time. You could tell that she was enamored with that dog. So I think that we're either going to get a Bernese Mountain Dog. She wants one that's like a poodle mix, and I've banned poodle mixes. No, thank you. Don't like them. But either that or a golden retriever. Like maybe we could get a dog. We could train the dog to keep an eye on Asher, and if Asher tries to leave the house, bring him back. That sort of a thing. Right? Service dog. So yeah, that's what I want to do. That or a Sphinx cat. Do Mormons believe that dogs have souls? They do. They do. Mormons believe that all living things have souls. Their souls are obviously different from our own and don't have the same potential. So this comes back to this interesting thing that there's like the spirit and the genes and all the combination of this. I mean, like this is a thing about Mormons. I guess maybe some of my opinions are kind of derived from that, but Mormons do not believe in like a stateless society. Like in heaven, there are hierarchies. it's just that your conception of a hierarchy is different, because in this world that hierarchy is like changes how you get to live and what you can do. And okay, but there is still people are given stewardship over other people, and that's the way that we organize. And there are some living creatures that they have souls and stuff, but the purpose of their creation is different from the purpose of your creation. And there's this whole thing that like all of the animals will be resurrected too, and will have resurrected bodies too. And you will see your dog in the next life. When your dog dies, all of the animals that you've had, you'll have them in the next life. And there's this thing called the Journals of Discourses, which is basically a compilation of letters and discussions and stuff that like church leaders, apostles, and prophets have with each other. It's a huge volume. Like, to read all of that, there are people in the church that have read all of that, but it's it's like as big of as old style dictionaries, right? And or not dictionaries, like the encyclopedia, like multiple volumes, right? And I've been told by people that have read them that in the Journals of Discourses, the apostles have long debates about what it means for different animals to fulfill the measure of their creation and stuff. Like, is there animals of different glories, and if so, what does the different animals fit into different categories and stuff like that? It's interesting. Mormonism is so American, it mandates government administration after death. Yes, that's exactly it. Well, it's not even government administration, but like in the Mormon Church, you have the family, the dad's the patriarch of the family, and then you have like your ward, and there's a bishop in the ward, and then there's the stake, there's a stake president, and then there's area authorities and the prophet. And Mormons believe that those same kinds of organizations, like that the church, as it exists here on earth, will exist in heaven. So, anyways, it's time for me to get going, guys. So, have you seen Keep Sweet? I haven't heard of that. What is that? I saw that Netflix is creating it's not out yet, I thought. Oh, no, this is something different. So this one is about the rise of Warren Jeffs. There's a new documentary coming out in April that is basically like this couple moved to Arizona City or whatever it's called down there where that cult lived, and crazy stuff happens. I'm interested to watch that. I need to watch that video about clavicular and the manosphere, just so that I know what people are talking about. Anyways, here you're going. See you guys Monday. And hopefully this 10-day thing still holds, and next week we get a breather. But if it's anything like today, we're not going to get a breather. So see you guys then. In the meantime,